Welcome to the Eagles Nest. I'm your host, Jeff Porcaro, and I'm here today with a Maple Mountain athlete, John Jensen. John, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what sports you're doing and what events.
Yeah, so I'm a senior here at Maple Mountain. I am on the cross country and track team. And track, the events I do are the mile and 2 mile. I'm an all distance guy, so I enjoy it.
That's great. That's definitely a lot of running. Something that's not in my blood, but I'm glad there's guys out there like you that like to run.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this time when everyone's kind of in quarantine and no school in session? It's all online. What's keeping you busy?
Yeah, so the great thing about distance running is that you don't need a field or a court or even teammates to still practice every day, I guess. I've been running about 55 to 60 miles a week, and that's keeping me pretty busy. And then, of course, just schoolwork, spending time with family, and just hanging out, getting through this.
Wow, that's quite a few miles you're putting on. That's great. I guess right now, if you were in a season, you'd probably even be putting on a little more with competition and everything.
Yeah, it's some different speed work and stuff too they throw in there with you. So
Okay, that's great. So, during this time of kind of the break and all, some people have been doing a little bit binge watching of shows and other things. And so, I kind of want to ask you, what is your favorite sports themed movie and why?
um so I'm gonna have to go with McFarland USA, and that's because in junior high our coach made us watch it about 2 times a season, and it's pretty much the only running movie out there for Disney did at least. And so we watched that a lot, and I just kind of learned to like it over the years. It's got a really nice message and stuff. So yeah.
That's great. And along those same line of questioning, who would be your sports hero and why?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to move away from running for this one. I would say Jimmer Fredette, and that's just nearly because I have some of the best memories of my younger years are when I was in the third grade going to his games and just seeing him light up opponents and stuff, and just really being like probably the best BOU athlete ever in my opinion, at least. But and so he's always just been so inspirational to me just because he was kind of my childhood hero growing up.
That's great. And as you're kind of getting into to going out and competing and even in workouts and other things, what do you do when you're getting ready to actually compete in an event to kind of quell the butterflies and to be able to get focused and do what you know how to do?
Yeah, so something that our coach says to us a lot is trust the training, and that's something that's really helped me throughout my 4 years of running at Maple Mountain. Is you run for hours upon hours and just to race 1 mile or 2 miles, and that you have to trust everything you've been through and everything you've gone through to even just get to the starting line, and you deserve to be there, and that's why you can race well. So.
That's great. And with that, you're doing a lot of miles, you're doing a lot of practicing. There's a lot of workouts and drills and other things. What do you and your teammates do to kind of make the workouts or the practices fun?
Yeah, well, we've all kind of become pretty good friends because we spend so much time together, and just joking around a lot, having fun with it, not taking ourselves too seriously, if that makes sense. So just really just having a good time and enjoying ourselves.
That's great. And so at what point did you start running or figure that, hey, this is something I want to do in high school?
Um, so I remember when I was in elementary school, I went to my sister's junior high track meet, and I thought that was super cool, and that was a really cool thing. I mean, of course, she ended up quitting like at the end of the season, but I was hooked from then. I then joined the Spanish Fork Youth Track Club when I was like 8 years old, I think, and then I've just been kind of growing up with it ever since. Yeah, doing it in junior high and then now high school.
That's great. And throughout all that time, you've probably run a lot of races and been to a lot of different places. Where is your favorite venue or place that you've competed?
Um, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna have to say Maple here, right here in Maple Mountain. Even though it's kind of a crappy track, it's still home. It's it's the place I'll always associate where I've had some of my best races and some of my worst races, right? So it's always going to be home for me for the track.
Yeah, that's great. And hopefully in the not too distant future, we're going to get that track resurfaced and redone when
Yeah,
they hopefully get some turf and other stuff taken
I
care
hope
of
so for
there.
the next generation there.
Exactly. And I guess one of the questions I have is, what is your favorite memory from doing running and being with the team in high school?
Um, I'll have to say my senior year, regions cross country. I was able to PR by about 10 to 15 seconds there, and it was the first time the boys team has gone to the state meet in I think 3 or 4 years there, and it was one of the highest finishes ever at a region meet for the boys team. So that was, yeah, it was just a really cool experience, and we'd kind of been building up to it, and my freshman and sophomore and junior year, and then to finally break through and get it was just a really cool experience to share with everyone.
Yeah, and that was fun. That was one that I actually got to make it to do some photos and stuff, and so that was really cool that not only
Yeah,
did the boys make state, be able to go, but the girls also. So that was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. We all
That's
got to go
awesome.
that this last year.
All right. So as you're, wrapping up your career time and all of this, what is your, what's next for you? What are you doing after you get out of high school?
Okay. Yeah. After high school, I have a mission call to Edmonton, Canada. I leave July 1st, and then once I return from then, I'm gonna attend college somewhere. I maybe try to walk on or something. It's hard without a senior track season to try to get a
Mhm.
scholarship, but yeah, I just go to college when I get back and then figure it out from there.
That's great. Thank you. If I had to ask you for words of wisdom or advice that you can give your fellow athletes and those who are following behind you, what would that advice be?
Um, yeah, I would just say, I've had a lot of time to reflect and look back recently. And one of the biggest things is just, don't leave with any regrets. Make the most of every day, train hard every day. When you're finished with your career, don't look back and say, man, I wish I would have worked harder my sophomore or junior year, and then I would have made this so much better. Just take the time now and put in the time to work a single day. And no matter what the results are at the end, you'll be happy with it because you know it was your best.
That's great advice for everyone. And I want to thank you for joining us today and talking on the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is something that I wanted to do to basically give some of the seniors an opportunity to be showcased, especially now that the season was cut short and all. And so thank you again for
Yeah.
joining.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. So we've been talking with Maple Mountain cross country and track distance athlete, John Jensen. And we want to just remind everyone that we want you to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channels, and to follow our and for all of those, that's Maple Mountain Sports, all one word for those accounts. And then for our Twitter, we are Maple MTN Sports. And we just want you to come and follow and subscribe and like and all those great things so that you can keep track of all these great Maple Mountain athletes and everything that they're doing. Again, I am your host, Jeff Porcaro, and I'm glad to be here today. And this is the Eagle's Nest.